Your phone buzzes. A friend is canceling your plans for the evening. Instead of disappointment, an immediate wave of pure physical relief washes over you. We live in a culture that expects us to constantly be in motion. The standard blueprint for a weekend involves crowded rooms, loud music, and aggressive networking. Yet for millions of people, the prospect of a supposedly fun night out triggers a sense of exhaustion before it even begins, leaving a trail of quiet guilt every time they choose their pajamas over a party. Choosing the couch is an active biological regulation strategy. Society mislabels it as boring, but the physical reality of how our brains process the world points to a completely different mechanism at work. Human interaction requires a measurable energy exchange. Every person processes the exact same environmental data, the overlapping conversations, the movement in a room, the shifting lights, but our nervous systems pay entirely different biological prices for that data. Extroverted nervous systems generate energy from external chaos. They absorb the noise and the unpredictability of a crowded environment, using it to physically ramp up their internal battery. This visualization shows the exact opposite reaction in introverted nervous systems. The same nodes of external data are absorbed, but instead of charging the system, they are depleting it. Every social interaction, even a genuinely enjoyable one, constantly drains the battery. Psychologists measure this using optimal arousal theory. This graph maps how different brains require distinct, measurable levels of stimulation to reach a baseline of comfort, creating functional peaks at opposite ends. When an introvert cancels dinner plans, they are actively seeking the only physical environment capable of recharging their specific wiring. Retreating to the house is a necessary biological process of nervous system regulation. The outside world is essentially a zone of unpredictable sensory threats. You have zero authority over what happens next. You cannot lower the restaurant's volume, dim the harsh overhead lighting, or fast forward through a forced conversation. For highly sensitive nervous systems, these uncontrollable variables quickly become overwhelming. Your home solves this problem by acting as the ultimate sensory control room. You dictate the exact lighting, the precise volume of your television, and the overall rhythm of the space. Researchers refer to this as a low stimulation preference. Individuals with this trait possess an internal environment so rich and active that they require zero external chaos to remain fully engaged. When the brain isn't forced to waste processing power on external noise, that cognitive bandwidth shifts to internal reflection. This redirected energy is what allows for the high-level synthesis required for complex problem-solving and creative breakthroughs. Sitting in a quiet corner is an active state of high-level internal processing. The best ideas are frequently born in a controlled room with zero distractions. There is a critical psychological warning to address here. The biological need for a low-stimulation environment can sometimes hide a much darker reality. If social anxiety, past trauma, or depression are the primary forces keeping you inside, the isolation serves as active avoidance. It stops being a method of biological recovery. You have to ask yourself a deeply honest question. Are you staying home because the quiet actively fills up your energy reserves, or because the outside world feels too heavy to confront? The motive defines the space. One choice turns your home into a refuge of peace. The other quietly turns it into a cage. Assuming you are seeking a peaceful regulation of your nervous system, you can completely discard the societal guilt of turning down an invitation. Living your best life does not require performative partying. It can be a morning coffee, your favorite spot on the couch, and a weekend with zero obligations. Choosing solitude is a deliberate alignment with your own biology, a preference for depth over noise. You aren't missing out on the world. You are simply living in yours.